Hello, my friends. We are here once again. I've received another request to make a lazier farm for our mage friends out there, and I'm using the Nebula armor here. And for us to make a rather lazy farm using this armor set, we had to be somewhat mobile while still being as lazy as possible. That was the challenge in this. So I came up with this little short minecart rail here that we're going to be traveling back and forth. There are bumpers set up on each side, so once we get to top speed, we're just going to be bouncing back and forth throughout the fight, and this allows us to collect our little buff orbs. And we're still going to be damaging the Moonlord all throughout this process. With the best magic spell for this is going to be the Nebula Arcanum, which I'm using here, or the Razorblade Typhoon is also very good for this type of setup. The Last Prism, it is awesome, but for this setup doesn't really work too well because you kind of have to be aiming the beam and it gets troublesome. These other spells home in and makes things much better. The gear that we're using our everything's warding. We're using our mana flower for automatic potions, automatic mana potions. We have a celestial emblem for just the increased damage. We got our warding destroyer emblem. Let me buff. I'll go over the buffs here in a second as we're damaging him. So we're just going to, this is it. This is going to be the fight. We're collecting our hearts from our 9 heart statues that are spaced about 36 blocks apart from each other, so we can use all of them. Just going to be bouncing back and forth collecting. Things are going to be a little hairy in the middle of the fight, but once our regen buff gets really, really stacked, we're going to be sitting at like close to max health towards the latter end of the fight. So as we get there, I'm going to show you guys the fight and then cover the rest of the gear towards the end and just show you kind of how the fight goes. See, we're back. We're slowly getting back to our 400, 500 now. Now we're at 600. So we're going to be staying pretty close to 600 throughout the whole fight. It just starts off a little hairy in the beginning. Once we've got all of our little regen buffs stacked and everything, we're going to be good to go. So, I mean, he's already burnt down pretty quick. As you can see, his heart is out. We're blowing up his heart with a Nebula Arcanum. Just bouncing back and forth. They're homing in on him. And he's going to be dead pretty soon here. That's why the homing spells tend to work for this, is because there's really no aiming necessary. And he's gone. That's it. We ended that fight with 600 health. We're bouncing back and forth, collecting our little buffs along the whole way. We're going to hop down here. Guys, this is in expert mode. I don't do any videos in normal mode because I like playing in expert. So let's go back and finish what we were talking about. We're using the warding destroyer emblem. Like I said, everything's warding. This is just for more damage. Our frozen turtle shell, that's going to make us tankier for the first half of the fight to make sure that we don't die before we should. We have our celestial shell. I always roll with that. It's good for just small bonuses. And last but not least, our worm scarf. We have our dryad down here who is kicking in and helping out a little bit throughout the fight. There she is there. Our potions and buffs were well fed. Iron skin, regeneration, heart reach, which is very important for those heart statues to collect all those while riding on the tracks. Life force, we used endurance. We had our wrath for our increased damage by 10%. You can also use rage. I didn't use rage for this. That's 10% more critical. You have increased mana regeneration. Not necessary, but nice to have since we're running with the flower. And our magic power potion. 20% increase to magic damage. I also have clairvoyance, which is coming from this dude down here, this little crystal ball. You can right-click, much like the bewitching table and stuff, just a furniture buff. Alright guys, I hope you liked the video. I hope it helped you out. I will put a link to the map to download in the description so you can get it off Curse, and you guys stay awesome. Bye-bye.